Lewis Howes is an entrepreneur and the host of the School of Greatness podcast, one of the top-rated leadership and personal development podcasts on iTunes. He went from growing up depressed, becoming broke, and sleeping on his sister's couch to changing the lives of millions of people through his podcasts, videos, books, and events. Need motivation?
Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like na 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 na. For my top 10, top 10, na 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 na. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Lewis Howes, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Have a clear vision.
This book is built up of 8 principles. It's not about me, it's about the people I've brought on, and you're one of those people, so thank you. You're actually mentioned in the back of the book.
I did, that's
so
awesome.
Thank you very
man.
much.
You're going to make me
This
all
is the
embarrassed
8
now.
principles from all the people I've interviewed, from the top of their game, from every different type of industry. What has made them great? One of the first principle is having a clear, powerful vision of what you want your life to look like. And also a vision for your finances, health, relationships, everything. That's what all great leaders have, a clear vision.
Rule number 2, take responsibility.
I'm not some perfect human being here, so I make mistakes like a lot of people. And how I handle my mistakes and talk about them is also a big responsibility.
Yes.
How I take responsibility for my actions, for my mess ups, for my mistakes, how I've hurt people. Like, I'm not a perfect person.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for me as well, is to constantly take ownership and responsibility for everything, continue to live from a loving place, and continue to learn and grow.
Rule number 3, open up.
I was so terrified for my family and my friends to know actually who I was, things that had happened that I was ashamed of and guilty of, that I started every conversation, and I got this from a therapist friend of mine because I didn't know how to communicate correctly. I said, is there anything that I could ever do or say that would make you not love me? So I started every conversation with that. Because I wanted to know that I could be the most messed up person in the world and I would still have connection. And that someone would still love me. Because I think at our core, that's our deepest fear. That we're not going to feel love from someone. So for me, I started with my family members. They were all like, absolutely not. Even, especially my brother who went to prison, he was like, no, right away. He was like, nothing, you know? And it was just such a healing process to say, wow, I've known these people for my whole life, and yet they still don't know certain things about me, and I didn't know certain things about them. When I actually opened up and was vulnerable, when I opened up and was vulnerable and shared things with them that no one knew for 25 years of my life, it was like the most powerful, intimate conversations I've ever had with my closest relatives, right? And then they opened up in ways that I just had no idea what had happened to them. So our relationship formed a stronger bond. Our trust and intimacy formed a stronger bond. And I was able to just let go of things that I was holding on to for years, which allowed me to move forward. So I think it's starting with having those open conversations. If you can't do that, email and ask people to write down 5 things that you do well, 5 things that you could use work on, just to get feedback from people. Some things are gonna land, some things aren't, but I think it's important to get that feedback.
Rule number 4, don't be overly competitive.
In my entire life, I was competitive, was driven to beat other people. And in the last 7 years, I've shifted so much. I'm still competitive, still want to win, but I'm not like hurt if I lose. I'm not upset, it doesn't defeat me emotionally, whereas before it used to be like, this was my identity, winning, I had to win. Now it's like, okay, what did I learn? What did I gain from this experience? Did I have fun? Did I enjoy it? Did I inspire people even if I didn't win in this situation?
Good book by my man, Evan Carmichael, Built to Serve. If you want to learn about your purpose and how to become a better leader in the world, I love this. He says, this is the starting point for everything. If you're confused about what to do next, if you're pressured by others to fit in or live their version of your life, if you feel held back because of people judging you, it's because you don't know who you are and what you stand for. You got to figure out who you are and what you want and how you can serve other people.
Rule number 5, invest in your branding.
I'm very intentional about my design and branding.
Yes.
I think a lot of marketers miss out on.
Yeah.
Where I invested in I went to Iceland 4 years ago just to do a photo shoot for my website. Spent 5 days, all this time, all this money,
Yes.
hiring a celebrity photographer,
Yes.
Everything, just to be able to say, I want photos that look different than everyone else online.
Yes.
I want to stand in a
Yes.
unique position
Yes.
and not just look like every internet marketer.
Yes.
So I'm very intentional about like, what do mainstream people do?
Yes.
I'm doing that. I'm not doing what internet marketers do.
Yes.
I'm using internet marketing principles
Yes.
so that I can make money and run a business.
Yes.
But I'm not going to be an internet marketer, and I want to
Yes.
be completely disassociated with that industry.
Yes.
So I know everyone. I still stay close with everyone. I still go to masterminds and learn.
Yeah.
But it's how can I apply mass mainstream media strategies, branding,
Yeah.
mission, vision, and apply it to what I'm doing. And that's something I'm always thinking about is how can I be different? Because as Sally Hogshead says, different is better than better.
Rule number 6, give back.
So many people are fighting for their dreams. They're going after what they want, and it's in some ways selfish, but a lot of people aren't figuring out how to give back at the same time.
Yeah.
And you're constantly giving back with free information, free. You invested millions of dollars in all the stuff you've created to give to people for free because you're leaving a legacy and living a life of serving other people, millions of people around the world. And because you're in service to other people as opposed to just yourself, you're building a huge legacy.
Yeah.
So make sure whatever you're doing, yes, it's going to be selfish for your own needs and your dreams, but make sure you're giving to other people at the same time.
Yeah.
Rule number 7, develop your self-worth.
I'm all about having nice things, like living in a nice place, flying first class. Like I'm all about convenience and all these things. But I think if I was posting about all my material possessions every single day on social media, talking about how much money I had constantly, I would attract a certain crowd and I would attract people close to me who probably were thinking about the same things. We're focused on the money. So I would ask myself, like, if I lost it all, would those friends still be around? Did I make an impact in their life, or did I have meaningful connections with them beyond the money? Or was that the thing that attracted them to me as well? So I think you just need to ask yourself, like, again, if you're an athlete and then you get injured, are your friends going to stick around? Is your entourage going to stick around if you're no longer playing in the game, whatever sport you're playing, and you no longer have the money? Did you make an impact in people's lives? Did you build meaningful, intimate relationships? If you didn't, those people probably aren't going to stick around. But don't allow your net worth to reflect your self-worth. And the same thing with your athletic capabilities and everything else. Figure out a way to develop your self-worth first and build meaningful value in other people's lives. And if you make a lot of money, cool. But at least you have the foundation first of self-worth.
Rule number 8, build your credibility.
For me, mass credibility is important. Mainstream credibility is important.
Yeah.
Because I think that's when you can really influence people.
Yeah.
And
impact a lot of people.
And I noticed that, I'm not going to say their names, I think they're all great guys, but a lot of these guys who are successful in internet marketing, Oprah, Ellen, GMA, Today Show, none of them were being called to be on the shows.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I want to impact the country and the world, I need all the big press to say, man, there's something about this guy or his mission or his message that we like. We got to have him on.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was on my sister's couch thinking like, someday I want to be on Ellen.
Yeah.
I want to be dancing with
I
Ellen.
saw it. I saw it.
I want to be dancing with Ellen.
I saw it.
And I was just like, it's not going to be teaching LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's not going to be being an affiliate marketer.
Yeah. Because it's just too niche.
Hacking the internet. Yeah, it's just not it.
Yeah. How to build an email list. Yeah.
That's it. And I was just like, I need to build something that is building a movement and transforming lives.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it be spiritually, financially, health-wise, like it's got to be a bigger transformation than just how to make money. And I was like, gosh, how do I do this? And whenever an internet marketer was doing courses and just coaching by itself, I said, okay, I'm going to keep doing that because I want to generate revenue. But I'm going to build this podcast into a mainstream brand. How do I do that? I can't talk just about money. I need to bring on celebrities. I need to bring on thought leaders. I need to bring on billionaires.
Bigger society, global
Mainstream people.
Yeah.
I need to interview them, not just the internet marketing celebrities, which everyone else was doing that I knew. I was like, I can make a lot of money doing this.
Yeah.
But I need to forego money and do whatever I can to build relationship equity.
Yeah.
To get these people to come on my show, to trust me to tell their story.
Yeah.
Through association, I'm going to become that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You become who you hang out with.
Yeah.
You become those people that you're surrounded with the most.
Yeah.
And so people just started to say, well, I was in those conversations. Everyone just be like, do you know Lewis Howes? Do you know Lewis Howes? Like,
Lewis is a cool guy. Like,
yeah. Man, he's with this person, like, it was a great interview.
Yeah.
Man, that's Lewis Howes guy.
Yeah.
You just become associated with that crowd.
Yeah.
Mainstream, celebrity, credible,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you interview all world-class athletes, you become known as world-class.
Yes.
And then I said, the podcast was a great foundation. That's not enough. Like podcasting didn't have a big enough name still, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, not even until really a year ago.
Yeah.
So I said, what can I do? I need to write a book. Everyone who's credible, and this was my second book. The first book, I was like, I need to write a book.
It's a great book, by the way.
Thank you.
It's a great book.
I need to write a book. And everyone was talking about self-publishing, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I go, it's got to be with a big traditional publisher.
Yes.
Because I need to go mainstream.
Yeah.
Because no internet marketer who writes a book gets a New York Times bestseller list.
Yeah.
They're not getting press.
Yeah.
I need mainstream press, mainstream publisher.
Yeah.
I need front of Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
I need airports. I need what celebrities and credible TED speakers do.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
And I was committed to it. I went after the best agent in the world, Tim Ferriss's agent, Stephen Hanselman, who's incredible. And I said, and I was working on trying to get him as my agent for 5 years.
Yeah.
Until I became the person I needed to be for him to take me on. I had a vision, and I was just like, I'm
I
gonna write a
remember
book.
when we did the book tour. It was intense.
Yeah. I was like,
It
I need to do
was
everything
intense.
that a celebrity would do, everything that a New York Times bestselling author would
Yeah.
do. What do they do?
Yes.
They do big book tours.
Yes.
They have other celebrities with photos of their book posting
I
them.
remember after the book tour, I think I was listening to, maybe you on a show or something like that. You're like, oh my, that's a long,
work, man.
yeah,
It's a lot of work, man.
It was a lot of work. Like, oh man, that
There's
was.
so much energy.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is a moment in time that I have
Yeah.
to make something special happen.
Yeah.
Can't write a book every year
Yeah.
and have a chance to hit the New York Times bestseller list,
Yeah.
unless that's all you're doing as a writer.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need my first book to make a splash.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where I can call in every favor from every guest I've had on,
Yeah.
because I never asked them for anything.
Yeah.
There's where I can ask for every favor, email every journalist that I've ever talked to,
Yeah.
all my affiliate marketing contacts, everyone,
Yeah.
to promote one thing
Yeah.
for 1 week
Well, 1 week. Yeah.
and give myself a chance.
Yeah.
It was in the front of all the Barnes and Nobles
Yeah.
because I built a relationship with the
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble team.
Yeah.
I was in magazines, I was on TV, I was on everyone's email list, every podcast, all social media. I was omnipresent
Yes.
for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
And I remember when I got the phone call from my agent congratulating me that I hit number 3 in the New York Times bestseller list in the first week, I was just like, it's kind of like this, like, oh my gosh, we put all this energy. Even if we didn't hit it, I would have been disappointed if we didn't hit it, but I was like, you know what? We went all in and it worked. And I knew that just having New York Times bestseller next to my name as an author would be another bump
Yeah.
in credibility.
Yeah.
Another bump towards mainstream.
Yes.
Another bump towards mass audience reach.
Yeah.
So I do things very intentionally that are very challenging
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
in order to give myself that.
Yeah.
Doing the podcast 3 times a week for 6.5 years is challenging to do for people.
Most people would not do that. They
And to
would-
build relationships with people for years before they come on
Yeah.
is not fun.
Yeah.
To write a book and think of it as a New York Times bestseller, not as a moneymaker,
Yeah.
but as a mainstream book.
Yeah.
It's counterintuitive to my marketing roots,
Yeah,
right?
totally,
It's
I
like,
get
what
it.
can I do as a funnel to have a back end? No, what
Yeah.
can I do that's going to change humanity?
Yeah. And that's why I'm launching my new book. It's exactly the same.
Exactly.
Exactly the same.
Then I said, okay, what's the next phase? I need a talk show.
Yeah.
So last year I did the first talk show for Facebook Watch.
Yes.
They came out with a new platform. We launched their first ever talk show. And that was another bump. It was like
Yes.
getting credibility, getting press,
Yes.
getting all this attention. Then I was like, you know what? What else do I want to do that's challenging that people aren't willing to do because it takes time, money, and energy?
Rule number 9, learn to move on.
People are going to constantly judge us, whether we go after big dreams or do nothing. We're going to be judged. Either way, if we sit on a couch all day, our parents and our friends are going to be, you're lazy, do something with your life. If we go chase after the most audacious dreams we have, a lot of people are going to attack us and try to bring us down. So we might as well go do something with our lives and say thank you for the feedback and move on. Some things will land, other things will just bounce right off. And it's our duty and responsibility to be able to move forward and be discerning of the information we receive, have a close group of people that we really trust who can cipher some of the information and give the feedback that is worthy, and then try to learn, apologize, move on. That's all we can do.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is practice duty and love.
I feel like in the last 7 years, it's been more duty and love. It's more like mission focused. And there's an amount of happiness that I've never felt before until I reached practicing duty and love. And I remember I never was able to fall asleep at night until about 7, 8 years ago without an hour and a half of just anxious, anxiety, stress, concern, worry. And when I shifted from seeking personal gratifications to being motivated by a mission and love and gratitude, it's like I started to fall asleep within minutes. And it's crazy.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video? And write down in the comments below when you're going to take action on that takeaway this week. When you schedule in what day, what time, and what place you're gonna take action, you have a 91% chance of actually following through, compared to just 35% if you just got motivated but never created a plan. And when you share your plan and have accountability, you give yourself an even higher chance of following through. So in the comments below, write down your single biggest takeaway as well as your specific plan of action, because I want to celebrate with you.
I really love journaling. Journaling for me is a way to express my own emotions to myself, which most men, I would say in general, I think the viewpoint is men aren't able to communicate their emotions, right? And it starts with being able to do it with ourselves. How did I feel today? When I got mad at this person, what did it do for me inside? How did that person feel after that conversation?
And is that actually what you're writing down, those exact words?
Different things, different prompts based on different masks. I give different prompts, yeah. But I mean, for me, it's just more of like evaluating my day, like
total stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
Not worried about grammar, punctuation, just
whatever. Just, I mean, I can't spell in the first place because I'm dyslexic, so I'm just like scribbling and I can't even read what I say afterwards.
And do you prefer that it's handwritten? Like, do you think there's something more cathartic about that?
I think writing is powerful. Any way to get it out. You know, use technology to your advantage. If you want to voice it on a voice memo on your phone, do that. Any way to communicate your feelings. No one needs to see this. Start with yourself.
If you want to change your life for free in the next 30 days, click the link below me. Or if you want 10 more awesome rules from Lewis Howes, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy them. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.